So I want to show you 3 common situations that we find ourselves in when we're around the green and what type of lie we get. This first one is just in that first cut, and when we're just in that first cut, it means we've got a little bit more grass underneath the ball and we can get the leading edge of the club underneath the ball a little bit easier. It means that we can allow the hands to be a little bit more passive and we can release the club head more with this type of shot. Obviously lie depending, if it's sat right down, that's a different scenario. But if it's just sat with a fairly average lie, as you can see there in the rough, it means that we can play this like a normal chip shot, but we can be a little bit more aggressive because we know the leading edge of the club is going to get underneath that golf ball. You can see I actually took a divot there so I could get right underneath that golf ball. Lie number 2 is very different, and these are quite awkward when we're out on the golf course, and you can see there that the ball is almost resting up against that first cut of rough. The lie itself is pretty good, but the problem we've got is we've got this longer grass behind the ball, which is going to affect the strike that we can actually make with the golf ball. So how do we adjust our technique to play this shot a little bit more consistently? Well, what we have to do with this shot now is we have to take that ball position a little bit further back in the stance, and we have to get into the golf ball a little bit steeper. And the reason for that is we need that leading edge to cut through that longer grass and get to the bottom of the ball. If we play this a little bit more passive like we would do with that first scenario, then it means we've got a chance of catching more of this grass behind the ball, which is going to affect the strike, and we may even come up very, very short with that golf shot. So we're going to move that ball position further back in the stance. We're going to get steeper down into the ball. The ball's going to run out a little bit further because it's going to come out a little bit hotter. So do you see there that golf ball came out a little bit lower, a little bit hotter? I didn't quite strike it very well, even with that lie, but you can see how it ran out a little bit more than the previous one. So the third scenario is we've got the golf ball on the fringe or the apron, and we've got nothing around this golf ball that's actually going to stop us making good contact with it. The problem we've got here, especially when we're looking in the summer months, is the ground's quite firm. It can create more difficulties with getting that strike right. The easiest way to strike the golf ball off a tight lie more consistently is to change the angle of the shaft. And all we're going to do is we're going to lift up the shaft of this club. We're going to get a little bit closer and we're going to grip down on the club. You're going to treat this shot more like a putt, like an extension of a putt. And what this will help you do is this will get the toe into the ground a little bit more and the heel off the ground. And it will just help you strike this golf ball a little bit more consistently. So we're going to lift the shaft angle up, we're going to get a little bit closer, and we're going to treat this shot like a putt. And it's really, really easy to strike a golf ball off firm ground when you lift up the shaft angle on that wedge. So there's 3 scenarios for you. Go and practice them and start chipping that ball closer when you're out on the golf course around the greens.